What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Crazy for KV's RC. I'm Tim. Welcome back to my channel. We're on episode 11 of the RC Garage Tour. So number 11 out of 13 in ascending order of least favorite to most favorite, and this is all just based on my personal opinion, is this canary yellow, big, bright banana of a truck. You guys can probably tell, obviously you can see from the thumbnail, VS4-10 Pro. So the Vanquish VS4-10 Pro is a truck that I had my eye on for quite a while and just couldn't really justify the price and didn't really understand what went into these. As time went on, I finally built some of their axles. I built their transmission, put their wheels together, and realized that their machining is truly top notch. Now, this truck is 100% made in America. It is made by a small business in California, and most of their aluminum, if not all, is actually machined right there in the Sacramento area, which I do love supporting U.S. companies. Call it cheesy, but I don't really have the nerve to pull the trigger on a truck like this for the price tag that it comes with until I built my Phoenix and found out just what a great experience building one of their kits is. The Phoenix is one of my favorites. I just bought my third spoiler, and you'll have to check out my podcast if you want to know what that's for. Link down below in the description. But I built the Phoenix and I decided, hey, I'm going to save some money and I'm going to buy a Pro. And I'm really glad that I did. Now, this Pro doesn't have a whole lot special on it, so this is actually going to be a pretty quick video. There's not a ton to go through. You guys have probably seen a VS4-10 Pro before. Some of the best features of the VS4-10 lineup, whether it's the Pro, the Ultra, or the Phoenix, is that VFD transmission. Now, there's mixed reviews, but I think VFD stands for Very Forward Design or something like that. And basically, it's alluding to where the motor is mounted. If you're used to like a 3-gear or a TRX4 transmission or some of those other more common, this puts the motor extremely far forward and it sits down really low. The motor actually doesn't sit much higher up than the front axle, which is really nice. And the motor also ends about right here, so you get a really great forward weight bias. It's one of the heaviest components on a vehicle, so you definitely want that motor low and up front. Additionally, the same as all Vanquish VS4-10s, whether it's the chassis or any of their other kits, you get a rock solid chassis with pretty much no flex. Their plastics are pretty much second to none, extremely strong, durable, and the fit and finish is really good. You get this iconic Origin half cab, small 2-door pickup truck, somewhat of a drop bed, about half depth I would say, roughly a half depth Lexan interior that comes with it, and as well as some scale accessories. You can see the little gas cap, there's door handles on both sides, and molded windshield wipers as well. So nice little features. The Phoenix comes with plastic axles. The Pro and the Ultra come with metal axles. The Pro is a straight axle version, the Ultra is portals. The Pro comes with machined gears for the transmission. The Ultra comes with like a sintered powder metal gear, a little less durable. The one thing I'd like to see upgraded if they ever do a 2.0 is get rid of these flimsy Lexan inner fenders. I love that they did inner fenders, that they included them, but the Phoenix for the front has molded inner fenders and they're really nice. These are just Lexan and they are quite flimsy, and I imagine they will crack or break with time. This truck does come with a scale fuel cell in the back you can use for electronics or just for looks. It also comes with a metal battery tray and electronic trays that are all kind of integrated and tied in. Now the Pro and the Ultra do not come with a dig feature included. That's extra. You have to pay for the VFD Hertz dig unit, and that's available on Vanquish, but I opted not to do it and keep this thing relatively simple. The goal of this truck was to have just kind of a go-to, something I can always grab and be just dead nuts reliable, and it's been that so far, and it's really fun to drive. It's definitely not the most capable. That's not why it's up here at the top 3. I think it's because it looks great, it handles pretty well, and it's got that full body, so you get kind of that scale appearance. You do have the body clips, but they aren't the only ones that do that, so no harm really. I just have a tendency to lose body clips. That's my real beef with them. So that was just to highlight a couple of the features of the Vanquish VS4-10 Pro. So I built the kit, and let's talk about how I finished it, what I did with it as far as electronics go, and wheels and tires. So for electronics, I have it hooked up to my FlySky Noble. That's kind of my go-to radio. I know some guys have issues with them, but it's been great for me. I know on some of the lower end Fly Sky stuff, there is reported problems at larger events or just bigger gatherings. So for motor and ESC, you guys could probably guess, and you could probably already see, I have a Castle Mamba X in here. I went with the Mamba X mostly because it has that auxiliary port feature. You can set it up through the programming to do a couple different things. I usually have mine set up to turn the drag brake on and off, and there's a couple different trucks I do that on. This is one of them, kind of being like a trail truck, something with some pretty good wheel speed I want out of it. I want it to kind of be able to zip around, and when I'm moving at pretty good speed, I don't want to let off the throttle and immediately hit 100% drag brake or whatever I have it set at, 70, 80%. So I like to be able to turn that drag brake off and have it coast like a regular truck would. Hooked up to that Mamba X, I have a Polar Pro 2700. It's probably my favorite motor. You can run it on 4S. I don't know if Holmes recommends that, but I know people do and don't have any issues. I'd probably just gear down if I was going to run on 4S. I run this truck on 3S. I put a 4300 or a 3600, fairly large 3S pack in there, and I've gone 2 hours and not had any issue with battery life, so it does great. And lastly, for electronics, I have one of the fairly new ProTech 1K TBL. That's a 1,000 ounce inch servo. It's a little over 1,000 ounce inches, but it's pretty nice because it's not direct power. If you guys are like me, you don't necessarily care for soldering. It is part of the hobby, but it's definitely not my favorite part. So the less I have to solder, half the time I put a direct power in, I get the battery connector soldered up, get my heat shrink on, and realize I forgot to put a JST on there. So the more plug and play servos I can find, especially with super high power, the better. And that's another reason why I did run this Mamba X, is because it has a little bit stronger of a BEC internally than the Copperhead does. But the servo's been great. It's been super reliable. It's really strong, tons of speed, and I think you'll break something probably before you break the servo. You definitely don't want your fingers in there in the way. It is quite impressive. This is sitting on the original Incision 90mm shocks that come with the kit. They're not my favorite. I used to like them quite a bit, but since the S8E shocks have come out that come with the Phoenix, those are definitely my preferred for like a scale appearing shock. These don't look nearly as good, and they do tend to leak. I have 3 sets of them, I think. Each of them have one that leaks. So to finish off the kit, it does come with wheels and tires. It comes with Vanquish's original VXT tires. They're not very good. It's pretty much the only thing you'll hear me talk poorly on Vanquish about. I don't really know what they were thinking when they came out with those tires. They're hard. They don't really grip that well, and they're just not a very good performing tire. They look okay, but I've switched out every single set I've got for all the Vanquish trucks that I've bought, and I have a pile of those VXT tires, so if you want some, let me know. But I decided to give a new tire a try on this and kind of regret doing it. So I went with the Voodoo KLRs. There's KLR M's, which you guys just saw on my Capra, the one with the carbon fiber panels on it. Those are really aggressive, kind of a tractor tire style pattern with just a lot of siping and cutting. And these are quite different. The lugs are extremely soft on these, and they kind of tend to fold over. There might be some terrain where people really have good luck with these. I'm not sure. I don't see a lot of people on YouTube running them or on the forums or in the Facebook groups. So I don't think they're necessarily the best tire. I like the way they look on the truck, but I think I am going to switch them out. I have a set of BFG crawlers that are slightly used, that are just sitting on a shelf. Switched them out for something else on a different truck, and I think I'm going to run those on here. And I know those do well where I'm at, so I think that's what I'm going to go with. I do intend to run the same wheels when I switch those tires out. I really like these wheels. So I'm running KMC Bullies. These are from Vanquish. I love Vanquish wheels. I have some SSD 2.2s, but those are the only machined aluminum wheels I have. I have been looking to get a set of the Spec RCs, which are almost always sold out, and I know he always has posted that he's not taking orders, so I don't know if you need a hookup or if you just have to time it perfectly. And I've also looked at the Pro builds from Boom Racing. There's tons of different options. It's almost overwhelming how many options they have, but I do suspect that I'll get some of those in the future just to show you guys some different stuff. But I've got these Bullies outfitted with full scale hardware and love the look of the scale hardware. It's not the best performing because actually if you have the wheel hit rock, those scale hardware on the bead locks will actually grab the rock and kind of hold you up. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick run through of my VS4-10 Pro. We're going to get outside and run it a little bit. I will warn you, the running footage is going to be quite short as well. I actually had some camera issues. I recorded most of the running footage as a time lapse on my GoPro. So there's going to be very little running footage. My apologies, but you guys will see this truck in the future. I'm going to switch out those tires, and the next time I go out, I'm definitely going to take it with me and see if it improves the performance. So let's go head outside to my favorite crawling spot, and I'll see you guys there.
Guys, so like I mentioned, for some reason my video switched over to time lapse, and you will see at the end of this, probably the most complicated line I hit was during a time lapse. So then my battery died shortly after. So struggle bus all around. Yeah, the VS4-10 Pro isn't a truck that's going to be a stranger to this channel. I've had it for a little while. Super fun to drive every time I get it out. It's truly a pleasure. You guys kind of see a new little nook of this area that I like to go to, admiring the water. Not a whole lot of crazy crawling going on. Almost just left the running footage out, but figured I would at least share my hiccups of the time lapse there at the end. There's also going to be a guest appearance at the end, so stay tuned. Only a couple of minutes of running footage here, and it'll be worth the wait, I'm sure. The boss lady is going to check in. So one of the reasons I like the VS4-10, especially this Pro, so much is you can kind of just hoon them around. You don't have to worry too much about durability issues or breaking anything. I used to really like my original TRX4, the one that's the Power Wagon now, the green one, for the same reason. Just super reliable, lots of wheel speed, way too much power in it than for what I need it to do, but just super fun, and I don't have to worry about breakdowns. All right, guys, by now you know I'm a huge fan of Vanquish. Like their stuff, they make a lot. No affiliation, they don't give me any money, nothing like that. But I want to give them a slight plug here. As of the time of recording this, the 21st of December, they started a Truck of Fortune. So if you're familiar with the Wheel of Fortune, it's kind of a mystery box, super value minded. You get way more value than what you pay. They're doing the same thing, but with their trucks. So I think it's flat rate $500, and you're guaranteed a $750 value. So you may get an Ultra with a set of tires. You can get a Phoenix with a bunch of stuff. Post a comment down below if you're interested in it and what truck you hope you would get, or what bundle. If you go to their website, they have them advertised there. So here's that line that I hit in time lapse. Super impressive. And there's the boss lady. That's Chloe. She's my supervisor.
Thanks for checking out Crazy for KV's RC and making it to the end of the video. If you like what you saw, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the notification bell. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know if there's something you'd like to see me do or do differently. Open to feedback. Check me out on Instagram. That's crazyforkvs_RC. Link down below as well. And first episode of the podcast is live, and you can find that on Spotify or Anchor FM. Links in the description. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time.